Hi guys, welcome to another SLTV Wrestling Roundtable podcast. We are here as always. This week I'm back, as you can tell. Hello.
He
We had
lives.
off, yeah. We had a few weeks off, and then these two clowns held the fort. I got told off for not listening to that episode back because they give me shit, which yeah, well, that's what you do. I mean, everyone's nice when someone isn't here except me, and then everyone's horrible. Says a lot about whatever. It's fine. Doesn't matter. This
Well, I
week.
mean, everyone will notice that if I'm ever not here, we just don't do one at
Well,
all.
yes, that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You are the glue that holds this whole thing together. If you haven't already seen the title, which I'm sure you have, we are ranking John Cena's 16 world title matches. So not well, a kind of range. We've all looked at it a little bit different, I think.
It's such a bizarre thing that's happened here because you've already said off podcast that you, over the past day, have
Yeah.
watched 15 out of the 16 matches.
I'll tell
So
you
I
why I
feel
haven't watched one of them, to be fair.
okay.
So go on,
I
go on. No,
I
no.
feel like yours is very much going to be these are the best matches and like an order of the best matches. Whereas me and Callum were talking yesterday, mine is very much an amalgamation of the match itself, the then subsequent reign,
Yeah.
the person who he beat, who he
Mm.
ended up losing to, all this
Oh yeah.
menagerie of,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Man was the match, and partially the build as well because I seen that when I was watching the match.
Mm.
Anyway, we'll get into this in a minute. Callum, you okay? Because you're here too. Sorry.
Yeah, I am here. I think it's very interesting that you put in your intro saying if you haven't seen the intro, if you haven't seen the title. I mean, how can you see when we're talking about the man who we couldn't see?
Oh yeah, I don't ever say that, and I've said it. I've
He
never
looks so
said that before.
confused.
I don't know why I said that. Yeah, if you can't, like, I'm sure you've already seen. Oh, but you can't see.
Yeah,
'Cause you can't.
I mean,
Anyway.
this bit's going to be terrible for audio listeners, but
Oh, 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 oh,
Oh, look at
oh, he's
okay.
got
that.
his cap on.
Oh, look at that. I mean, that's worth going on the YouTube
It
on it
is.
right there. Look at
Especially about all of that is that you can't actually hear me.
look at that. You're gonna wear it the whole show. That's amazing.
No, I'm not,
Oh, right, okay.
because
No.
I mean, you were just saying you can't see half of my face. You can't see three quarters of my face now. Um,
I
before
should
we
have
actually
dug out
talk
my CD.
Yeah.
before we talk about Cena himself, I want to talk a little bit about Kevin Owens.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Obviously, last week on SmackDown, he revealed that he would be requiring neck surgery, um, which sucks because I feel that he has been one of the most consistent performers in all of wrestling, really, like since COVID.
Mm.
Yeah, the stuff where he did as a babyface facing Roman sort of towards the end of 2020 into 2021 was really solid. He then went on to main event WrestleMania in Dallas against its icon Stone Cold Steve Austin. Then had that incredible moment 2 years ago alongside Sami Zayn, defeating the Usos. And then last year had a great triple threat with Orton and Logan Paul. And obviously this year he was supposed to face Randy Orton at this year's WrestleMania. So, you know, selfishly, him not being on this WrestleMania is going to be sad because I was looking forward to him versus Orton. But at the same time, I just hope that he gets his neck sorted and he can come back and wrestle. And if he can't, then what a career he's had, not just in WWE but outside WWE as well.
Yeah. Do you think he will come back? I mean, if he can't come back to WWE, he'll go to AEW because they let anyone wrestle, don't they? So, I mean, come on, let's be honest, they do, don't they? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not being like tribalism and all that. Like, oh, screw AEW, watch AEW every week. I love it. But these people who couldn't wrestle in WWE, who've wrestled in AEW, like, all I'm saying is, I mean, their doctors are less, what's the word? Cautious, I guess. I don't know. That's what I think anyway. I don't know.
It's a weird one because I feel like there's not been as much sort of fanfare around the fact that this is it. Like I feel like with Edge and Daniel Bryan and when they all made their announcement, there was a lot of sort of or is this really the end? Let's do a recap of this thing that happened, and let's look back at the career and all that kind of stuff. And I'm really erring towards not saying that it's a work, but
Yeah,
I've also got in the back of my mind that it very well could be. I sincerely hope that it. On the one hand, I sincerely hope that it's not, because I think it's a bad move to use it as a storyline thing. But
yeah,
on the other hand, I sincerely hope that it is, because I don't want Kevin Owens to go away.
mm, yeah.
Um,
I mean, he's had a Hall of Fame career.
Mm, yeah,
Like this is the end. Like he's done everything he needed to do. Let's be
good
honest.
enough to get in there. I mean, Coco Beware's in there.
but
What I
I
mean,
mean, what he made his main roster debut 10 years ago,
yeah.
defeated Cena on his opening night,
I mean, he's won
and
everything, hasn't he? Like,
yeah, exactly.
know what I mean? And
And
he's
there's, I mean, he's not won like a title, a singles title pre-COVID, which I think is pretty scary to think about when you
Mm,
think of how heavily featured he's been over the last few years. So, so I mean, definitely a Hall of Fame worthy career. Like you said, Adam, Coco Beware's in it. Yeah,
what you
Donald
say about
Trump's in it.
like the fanfare and like having like Daniel Bryan and Edge and stuff like that. Big E hasn't got that. And I know it's different,
no, I did think that as I was saying it. To be fair, that
but
Big
Big
we
E's
didn't
kind
really
of
have an end
like,
point for Big E, did we?
oh, that's what I mean. There hasn't been a moment where he's like, I am retiring. That's me done.
Mm,
Mm,
Like, he's still got that little bit of hope in him. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? So I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I know what you mean. Who out of interest, if you were put on the spot right this second, who would you say Orton is facing at WrestleMania?
If I was put on the spot, I'd say Nick Aldis, because people seem to think that it's going that way.
I mean,
But
that
I
would be
think the preference would be Aleister Black.
yes. Apparently,
yeah,
these rumors it's Andrade.
Huh?
Yeah, apparently
he,
that's what I've heard.
he should be fighting Ludwig Kaiser.
That's what I've heard.
Um,
Nah. He don't have to, fight that corner anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. That's what I've seen. I've seen it. I've seen it numerous places. That's all I'm saying.
yeah,
But whether it's
Weird.
just chatter, Alistair Black would make sense. But I thought Alistair Black would be more um like the night after WrestleMania he pop
And
up.
yeah, I think that's where that
mm,
one's going
Do you
for.
know what I mean? But
Yeah.
unless they do like an open challenge on the night and he's like he comes out, I don't know.
Or a Rusev.
Or Rusev, yeah.
mm. Or just not wrestle at all and just be in Cody's corner.
I
Mm.
thought you could say, or just be in the Andre the Giant battle royal.
Buy a ticket. Buy a ticket, man. Um,
Just sit in the front
no,
row.
yeah, 16 matches. As you mentioned earlier, I have watched 15 of these 16 matches. The reason being is because the match on Raw against Rey Mysterio is not on Netflix.
You could probably get it on YouTube.
I know, I was like, I don't mind missing one. I've watched 15 bloody matches for God's sake. You know what I mean? I was like, come on, man, you're doing. I've learned a lot of things in the last 2 days of watching 15 of his matches. Um, is he's he does a lot of, like he has genuinely got like full moves of doom. Like that's a shock because I never really thought that. And also, I've worked out that I genuinely can't stomach watching Alberto Del Rio. He genuinely makes me sick, and I don't know. Well, I do know why, but every match I've just been like you are horrid. You 46-year-old virgin. What are you doing? Like, I just don't understand how he became a world champ. Like, I really don't. He's just grim as fuck, isn't he? Like, he's just
Yeah.
horrible. Like, there's
Yeah.
just no redeeming qualities. He's not even that good of a wrestler. He's not even that good on the mic. Like, he's not a, he's not like a heel where you're like, oh, yeah, that heel. Do you know what I mean? He's just like,
Mm.
oh, just go away. Like you bore the life out of me.
There was only ever one time where I was genuinely surprised and then, I don't know, subsequently happy that I saw Del Rio.
Yeah,
And that was when Cena
yeah,
did a US Open challenge at Hell in a Cell 2015, and it was a massive surprise that it was Del Rio.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I
Other
would
than that,
feel, yeah,
That surprise lasted about a week.
yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just, it's
And
just,
then everyone went back to, oh, he's just a bit naff, isn't he?
yeah. He's the. I don't know if he still is, but he was the mega champion, weren't he, for AAA? Beat Dolph Ziggler. I watched that show. Wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it. Just looked out of shape, and his beard was wonky. He's got a beard now. His beard was wonky, and it proper annoyed the life out of me. And he wore a shirt. He wore like his normal wrestling gear, but then a t-shirt that didn't fit. So he just looked even worse than he was
To hide
out
his,
of shape. Yeah,
yeah.
just madness. Also, weirdly as well, while we're talking about Del Rio, did you know that um, when Paige was dating him, right? That apparently the rumor mill says that Charlotte Flair developed feelings for him. How? How? What the hell?
No,
Don't even get me into Charlotte.
I've got Paige's audiobook, so
Ooh,
that's the next thing where I'm like, right, I'm gonna listen to that now.
ooh. Does she read it?
Yeah,
So then she does. Right, okay, that makes sense.
I
I would.
like the wrestling ones because it tends to be them that read them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was gonna get the Mox one, but then I've got the Mox book, and Rach tells me off for not reading the Mox book.
I've got the mock book, but I did it through the audiobook.
She keeps telling me off. She's every time it's
Yeah.
like we walk because Thea's got this thing with wanting books all the time, and I end
Yeah.
up looking at books or whatever it is, and she's like, "You've got a book. Read the book I bought you." I'm like, "Oh, right, so sorry." So she's super mad. So the way this has worked is, as always, for long-term fans, uh, everyone had their own separate list, and then my beautiful wife, she accumulated all the information from our separate lists and give them points, and then everyone's got it, and then so that's how the rankings worked. We worked out with 14 different positions because 7 and 6 have both got the same amount of points, if you like. So
So there's two entries in seven and two entries in six.
yeah. So like, no, so the bottom one is number 14 on the list.
Hmm.
Okay, so but we'll work it out as we go along. So there is 16 different entries, but some of them have ended up with the same at the same point on the list. Okay.
Yeah.
So right at the bottom of the list, um, the 12th title reign of John Cena. It was when he beat our friend Alberto Del Rio at Night of Champions 2011. We've just talked about Del Rio being bland as tofu. Um, Anything else you'd like to add? This match was like, I didn't even know this happened. Like, I
I
forgot.
remember it happening because this is the thing. So there were a lot of these that when I was putting my list together, I was like, well, I'm going to make sure that I mention this thing, and I'm going to make sure that I mention this thing. That so for just for clarity and sort of transparency, this was my number 14.
Mine
So like,
too.
if I'm good.
Mhm.
So where was it for you, Callum? Was it bottom of
Um,
your list?
this was my number 15.
All right, okay.
I was trying to rack towards the back of my brain. Was this the match where Cena? Well, obviously Cena must have won, but was this when Miz and R-Truth attacked him afterwards?
Yeah, because
That's
this
the only thing
this
I
is the
remember.
thing. Yeah. So your whole sort of summer of 2011 thing, the quote unquote summer of punk, um, they made the decision after the unification match at SummerSlam for Del Rio to cash in on Punk. So then
Mm.
Del Rio was world champion, but then instead of it being a Del Rio Punk match at Night of Champions, Punk went on to face Kevin. Was it Kevin Nash at
Did
that
he
point, or was it
did
Triple
he
H at
team
that
up with
point?
Triple H against Miz and R-Truth?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kevin Nash didn't wrestle because he didn't get cleared or something,
No,
did he?
because he was just hanging around, weren't he, until
Yeah.
Sledgehammer on a pole or whatever it was. But so then it was clearly that thing of this probably should have been a CM Punk title match because then all they did for the months in between is fill the time, wait till Survivor Series for then Punk to then dethrone Del Rio. So this was essentially another one of these because there's a few of these that Cena's got where he is essentially a transitional champion.
Mm.
And I feel like the bottom half of my list are all very quick reigns, very quick sort of turnarounds, things that really sort of came out from nowhere. And then everything else above that, either I remember that match, I remember that reign, I remember that moment. They were really
Mm.
good. So yeah, so it was my number 14 because it was again, it was just sort of like a nothingness. I'm surprised it's where it is because there was one that I thought surefire was gonna be the bottom.
I
Mm.
think the thing that you think is going to be at the bottom is next.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Um, we'll get into that because if you've done it the way I think you've done it,
Mm.
the bottom one is arguably I know it because it makes sense when you think about it.
Hmm.
Mm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Night of Champions, I don't know, just a bit like it's just Del Rio, just bleeding Nathan. Like it just that's what I'm
Yeah.
getting. Like, come at me, bro. Like I'm not. He just does.
Nobody will.
No, he absolutely does. Mean he just needs to get in the bin. Like that's all he needs to do. Like, and there's another match somewhere with him in, so
Yes.
that's
Yes.
annoying as well. Callum, have you got anything to say about this? I didn't know that he that see this. I've watched the matches, but then as soon as he wins, I'm like, right, next one. I didn't know he got attacked.
See, it's really strange. When I looked at the list, I was like, I forgot he'd even won that match because all I remembered was Miz and R-Truth jumping him afterwards.
Yeah,
Because I was like the same as you, Adam. When I looked at the title wins and the title reigns, I was like, well, by the time you get to Survivor Series, he's teaming with The Rock to face Miz and R-Truth,
yeah,
and he wasn't world champion at that point.
yeah.
So the changes between Money in the Bank forward to Survivor Series, the title changes almost every month,
Mm. Yeah. So there was there was
um,
there was a
which is
vengeance
just
pay-per-view.
nuts.
There was a vengeance after Hell in a Cell, which was the one where Mark Henry suplexed Big Show and broke the ring.
That was the
To
one where Miz and
then
R-Truth jumped him.
yeah, because what they had to do is they still had to do the main event, which was Cena Del Rio in a last man standing match with
Yes,
the broken ring, because for some reason they did the superplex spot penultimate match.
yeah.
And then they went on to Hell in a Cell, where it was a triple threat Hell in a Cell between Cena, Punk, and Del Rio. And that was
So
the one where In Truth got arrested
I've
and
just
Triple H
kind of
started beating him up in handcuffs.
Hmm.
I've just half Googled this.
Mm,
Right. So the length of this reign is 14 days.
yeah.
Yeah.
2 weeks until, yeah, from SummerSlam to, no,
So and then he loses
Night of
it back.
Champions to Vengeance.
Possibly, yeah. I haven't
Yeah.
got that much information.
Yeah, because this was that
The
time where
back to Del
WWE just
Rio.
kept doing, they kept doing PLEs like 2 weeks after another.
Hmm.
Bananas. Right, so yeah, there's the bottom because of Del Rio. Right, I think the next one is the bottom of yours, Adam,
Right.
and
Hmm.
possibly very, very low on yours, Callum,
Okay.
which is the eighth reign when he was in the Elimination Chamber and he beat, well, it says he beat Sheamus, but he beat in the, give me 1 second. I haven't got the where. Who else was in the match? I haven't
I
got the
mean, Sheamus was the defending champion going into
Yeah,
the
so that's why
chamber.
he's.
yeah. So yeah, I'm assuming that is the lowest on both of your lists because it lasted about 4 minutes.
Yeah. It
Um,
lasted
Yeah, because
longer
it
than
was
the.
it, yeah, it was that thing of like it was a really really quick match.
yeah,
Um, not well where he lost it again. So basically, the sort of story of the match is that Cena wins the Elimination Chamber. The chamber goes up. Vince comes out and says
yeah.
Cena's going to defend it again right now against this man, and it's Batista. And then he loses it to Batista straight away. So it's
Yeah.
like a 4 minute reign.
Three
Mm.
minutes and 34 seconds it is.
So then straight off the back when I was doing it, originally it wasn't the one that I put the lowest. So this is my number 16. This is the one that I put the lowest.
This is my
Mm.
number 10, and only
Huh?
because the match, the match is really good. So I've gone on the match because I
The
watched the
chamber
match.
match is good. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
So I
Okay.
watched the match, so I was like, this is a cool match. Like, I enjoyed the match. So this is why it's like it's everyone's get a little bit of the way they do things. They
Yeah.
get, do you know what I mean? So it's my number 10 because these worst matches.
What
Mm.
was it? Your last? Was it? Where was it for you then, Callum?
Yeah, it's number 16 because
Right. Okay.
our intro was longer than his title reign.
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah.
play. I mean, he's got a reign that's 100 days long. It's not our intro isn't far off that, to be fair. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, man, that's what it was. Like, but then as soon as as soon as I was like, I know what the way they've looked at it, and there's absolutely no way this match is getting any higher than like the bottom three, if that, because he loses it in like 2 minutes. So, I knew the pair. Well, I didn't know both of you, but I absolutely knew Adam would be like, nope, he's not having this one. That's awful.
4 minutes? No, thank you.
They only do it that way to like as a throwback to Edge cashing in on.
Mm.
Yeah, but I mean,
That
you may as well just put Batista in the chamber.
yeah, true, yeah. Because but their match Mania that
Mm.
was decent.
Yeah.
I know that's why it's further up.
So so you would have done it Batista in the chamber. Wait, so Batista in the chamber, but Cena still in the chamber or not?
I'd still have him still in the chamber.
And then
Yeah.
Mm.
Batista wins, and then somehow
You could do
Cena.
like a Gold Rush tournament on Raw or something like that to get Cena then.
Because
You know.
if you think about it, it makes sense to get Cena in the title picture, and then Batista is the like comes out and he's the champ, so then it's them two because that was the goal, wasn't it, to have them two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the naff way of so like if I'm looking at it now, so 2010 Sheamus, so it would have been a case of Cena dropping it at TLC to Sheamus, Sheamus successfully defending against Orton at the Rumble, losing it at the Chamber because they didn't want Sheamus to be champion going into a match, but then they somehow needed to get Cena Batista together, so they
Mm.
did that old thing of Cena's going to win, Batista's going to come out straight away for whatever reason just to deserve a title match and have a title match. I sound like Mike now, and then. He's gonna do that. He's gonna beat Cena, but then Cena's gonna invoke his rematch at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I
And
get you.
it's like it's such a sort of dodgy way around it.
Yes, I would agree, but at the same time, to get to
It was
them
a good
two,
chamber match.
yeah, it's one of them where it's like I don't know how you'd even. I don't know what you do to kind of work it out that way to get to them two without the way they did it. Because then it just makes
Yeah.
the chamber completely void.
Mm.
I mean, because it's yeah, I don't know how
Well, yeah,
you
because I think at that point you'd be erring towards they'd have to name a number one contender, wouldn't they? Because
Mm.
Jericho
yes,
won the world title in the Chamber later that night, and
yeah.
Edge picked Jericho to face at Mania.
Because essentially, if you think about it, the way they would have had to do it is if Batista won it, Sheamus would arguably be like, "Well, I want me rematch,"
Yeah,
and
so he would
Mm.
get yeah.
he had to be like dropped down to be like, "Well, he's not the champ anymore. Cena's the champ," so that's what it was like a bit of a mess. But
Mm.
Whereas that probably
realistically,
ended up being one of those things that they just swept under the rug storyline wise, because then at
Yeah.
that point Sheamus was still due a
well,
title
that's it.
match.
Yeah. So
Bring it
that
back 15 years later.
Yeah.
so yeah. Well, it's one of them where that's the issue in it because it's like uh, arguably that Mania match between Batista and Cena didn't need to be for the title because
Mm.
Batista was a heel.
Mm.
So realistically, you could have had somebody else as a title match,
Yeah.
and
But you
then
could have done the Sheamus and Triple H could have been a title match
Mm.
there you go, yeah. So, and then if they did it that way, that could have worked, I guess.
because
Mm.
did Triple H eliminate Sheamus in the chamber? Is that how we ended up getting to that?
That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then you could have done Cena and Bret Hart versus Batista and Vince, and then we wouldn't have had to have Bret versus Vince.
Yeah.
You know what? Give him a job.
There you go. There
10
it
years ago.
is. Right. Number 12, which isn't actually number 12, but you know what I'm saying.
Mm.
Uh, is his 14th title reign. Hell in a Cell 2013 when he beat Alberto Del Rio again. Um, this is my number 16.
This is my number 12.
This is my number
Well,
13.
why?
I mean, the match was fine. It ended up being one of those things where it was like, right, we need to get the world title on Cena because we want to do the unification with Orton. So it was one of those where it was like, we need to get to this point. We need to get to X point.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move it down that way. Um, my issue with this, and I'm gonna come back to this for another one, is this was a John Cena's returning at the pay-per-view. He gets a world title match.
This is this is exactly what I was going to say. I was like, so I watched the build to this match, and the build was him on his phone being like, 8 days out of surgery. Oh, and it was like what? And he was like, yeah,
Yeah.
21 days. Like, and then he's like, I'm coming back to beat you. And it's like, what's Del Rio done here? Like, he's just got the
Because
top.
this is when Cena had that big sort of like golf ball in his
Oh, it was
elbow.
horrible, that.
Yeah.
And like, have you seen the Total Divas clip where they sort of show it in surgery?
No.
There's a bit on Total Divas, right, where Nikki Bella's waiting outside, and you can see the sort of operating, and he's there with his big goose egg on his elbow,
Yeah.
and they make one little incision, and it just goes.
Like a
Oh, no.
blister almost on the foot.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
No, that's
It's how
not.
your back would have looked.
Do you know what? I was just about to say to you, yeah, if you're ever wondering, that is pretty much how that's about the size of the thing that was on my back.
Jesus Christ.
That was, but it was like into me spine, like it was just all interwoven and that. It was horrendous. But yeah, it was probably about that big, I would say. And
Because
then
I would
maybe,
assume then at that point, would no Cena wouldn't because Brian beat Cena at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Orton cashed in. How the bleed now did we get to Del Rio then?
Who did Del Rio face at that year's SummerSlam? Probably Sheamus.
no, I don't know.
Because you would have gone
RVD.
Orton cashed in. Brian beat Orton again. Orton beat Brian at Hell in a Cell. No, this is Hell in a Cell. Um, oh no, it's a different title. It's the WWE title. That's why I'm getting confused. Brian Cena
Oh
faced
yeah, yeah,
Brian
yeah,
SummerSlam for the WWE title.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so Del Rio had it. I think he ended up beating Ziggler, didn't he? And then carried it through SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
hang on, let me see how long this. So was this reign long?
No.
Till December.
So it's about a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where. I'm looking.
Probably faced Del Rio again at Survivor Series, I would have thought.
49 days into the title. Oh yeah. Would it be? Yeah, because it was the world heavyweight title, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's where
Yeah.
I got confused.
Yeah, it's 49 days, yeah, and then yeah, there you go. There
Yeah.
you go. There you go. Yeah, fucking just fuck off. Alberto Del Rio. Just fuck right off. Get in the fucking bin. Sorry to any kids that are watching. I swear a lot there.
I've
Sorry.
still got a low one that's not yet come out.
Yeah,
Okay.
so have I.
Yeah, my 15 is not come out.
My 15's not come out.
My
My 14 hasn't.
my 13 was nearly me 16 because I absolutely hate the match, but I feel like you have put it quite high because of what it is.
Hmm.
Right. The next one is his 11th title reign.
Okay. Good.
In 2011 on Raw when he beat Rey Mysterio. I have not watched
That's
this match, but I remember being annoyed at this match.
It's my
Yeah.
number 15.
Yeah. It's
More,
my
more big. Poor Rey Mysterio.
it's my number
Yeah.
11, so it's just it's just bullshit, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
oh,
100%.
it just does me head. It was just like this is why back in the day I didn't really like Punk because the way he did business was just like a 8 year old. You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
right, hang on, right. I do not buy for a second that he wasn't under contract for the 2 weeks between Money in the Bank and this Raw. Of
Well, he swears blind to this day that he weren't.
course
Like,
he does, because
he
he's a mark.
well,
But
he says
he,
he wrote his name on the signature on Vince's back in gorilla before he
Yeah,
won. That's
right. Before Money in the Bank, I totally agree with that. But those
Mm.
2 weeks in between, where he's showing up at like Mid South Wrestling in Idaho,
do
carrying the title, like he was under contract.
you think?
Yeah, so they knew where this was going to go. So then at that point, instead of doing a tournament where Ray wins, beats the Miz, is WWE champion at the start of the show, for then Cena to go, I'll have a match with you. Cena just to crush Rey Mysterio's dream for Punk to come out at the end and go, all right, we've both got titles, let's do this later. Just
Yeah.
put Cena in the pissing tournament.
Yeah.
Have him win the tournament. Like Ray, this was using Rey Mysterio as a scapegoat. Not
Yeah.
even a scapegoat, just a patsy,
I
you
think
know.
the argument, yeah, the argument for him still being on a contract is probably quite valid when you think about the screw job.
Mm.
Because why would you let that, not even let it happen again? Why would you agree to let somebody walk out the like it doesn't make any sense when
With
you
the
Mm.
title.
With the title.
and the screw job was a work anyway. So yeah, I said it. I'm dying on this hill. Yeah, I said it.
You said a
And
lot in
I
this episode. You
it was
gone
a
from Del
work.
Rio to a screw
It's
job.
got a lot, it's got a lot to get in.
He's not
Come
been
at me,
here for
bro.
4 weeks. But
I'm telling
why
you,
would you have Ray win the tournament? Like, have a
literally.
heel win the tournament, then Cena confront them. You know, why make Ray look such a weak babyface
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
winning the tournament and then say, "Oh yeah, I'll face you, yeah,"
Yeah.
and then lose?
Yeah.
I mean, what was the need for from a booking perspective? Why not have Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk at that SummerSlam? Or why not have Rey Mysterio as champion versus CM Punk as champion versus John Cena at SummerSlam?
Yeah. I
Like
think
Whereas Ray ended up being in an opening six-man tag match with Del Rio.
seriously.
Yes.
Okay.
that's the thing. No, it's like if you were gonna, surely it would have had more impact that to have Cena go through the whole tournament, win the title, have the title, and be like, "Way, I've got the title. Like we're all good. Like the real champs here. Blah blah blah. All that stuff." And then Punk's music hits. That makes more sense. You're just shitting on Rey Mysterio for absolutely no reason,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
making it look like you're not because you're like, "Oh well, he's just won the title. Ooh. Like we've just given him the world title for God's sake. We're not being horrible and we're not being mean to this guy." And then you are. He's done something that you haven't liked. You know what I mean?
Those 2 weeks were used to clear Living Colour Cult of Personality as an entrance theme and redesign a couple of t-shirts and a tie-in.
Yeah. Bad, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, even that, they didn't like they haven't got rights to it. Punk's got rights to it, Annie.
Well, the one that he's using now is a technical remaster that has been reissued. So it's a
Right.
different. It's technically a different track that was released.
Hmm.
So I would assume that WWE have copyrighted that one.
But then he was using it in AEW.
He was using it in AEW. It comes down to a rights thing. It's PRS. It's basically whoever wants to use it can use it as long as you pay a certain amount of money for it.
Right, okay. That
It's
makes
the
sense.
same thing with like Alter Bridge and Metalingus. It's like WWE never owned that.
Yeah.
Edge got permission for Mark Tremonti to use it because he's friends with Tremonti. They licensed it for that use. That's it. You know, the Hardys can still use Loaded because it's royalty free.
Like MJF.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like MJF.
Yeah. Mad that, isn't it? Fucking
Yeah,
hell.
it's mad that not last year's All In, the year before was main evented Wembley Stadium, main evented by a guy with royalty free music. Oh God.
Bananas. Absolute
Yeah.
bananas. Right. Number 10 on our list, but obviously it's further down because we're going to get into the twos. Um, his fifth title reign, 2009, WrestleMania 25, Edge and Big Show. What an absolute garbage match. Like, oh my God. I was like, this is horrendous. It's known for one spot when he picks them both up. That's literally the only
He had a
insult.
good entrance.
He had a good. I was gonna say, he had a really good entrance
What was the entrance? Oh,
with all of the.
all this. That's one of my favorite entrances, to be fair. Yeah, I think it's my second favorite entrance. I think I've done a top five actually on sltdwrestling.com. Um, look for Cena's entrance. These are an article about it. Going back a bit, I've also wrote something a long time ago about the screw job being a work. Read that too while you're there. All right, and you'll understand
Going
why.
back a bit, I've also written a hate piece on Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, I've done a top five shittest things about Del Rio. Um,
Five wasn't enough.
yeah. So yeah, so WrestleMania 25. I don't know where to put this one. This one's low on mine, I think.
This one's my number 10.
My number 15 it is.
Number 11 for me.
There you go.
Mm.
I like what even. I don't know if it was because it was the big show and the whole match. I was thinking this would just be better if it was Edge and Cena. Like I don't really understand.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I
It
mean,
was a
obviously,
strange way of getting to it, wasn't it? Like,
yeah,
because it was initially, was it going to be Edge versus Big Show? And then Cena got in it because he revealed that Vicky and Big Show were having an
yeah,
affair.
something
Yeah,
madness in it. I
yeah.
remember Vicky slapping Big Show's ass. That's all I remember. Like about that whole thing, just being like, ooh, like, and him just being like, oh, like, which is a bizarre thing to have in your head.
Oh God.
That's what I remember. Like that weird. It was like it was like GTV, weren't it? Or
Yeah.
are you old enough for
What do
GTV?
you remember about this WrestleMania match
And
of
it was
Vicky
like,
Guerrero slapping Big Show's out on
yeah, she'd be like, oh.
CCTV
It's like when
footage?
they rang the bell for Festus.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just like it just in my head, I was like, this would have just made more sense to be Edge and Cena, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
I
one of
feel like I ended up putting it low less because of the match quality and more to do with the fact that he literally lost it the next pay-per-view back to Edge.
Hmm.
yes, yeah. I find this
Yeah.
a lot, right? That people, these are general consensus, I suppose, that like there was a point where Cena was the champ forever, and looking at these reigns. Outside of his longest one, which was like over a year, he's like proper transitional. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
Yeah.
he's got it for a bit. Like a lot of them is
yeah.
like less than 100 days. Which
That's the only way that you get into 16 though, isn't it?
yeah,
Like
that's it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
by
like
doing it like that.
yeah. So and I don't know. I don't think anybody else. I don't think anyone's gonna get to that point ever again. I don't think.
No, because we're seeing world titles in a different way. Like it's no one's batted
Hmm.
an eyelid over the fact that Cody Rhodes is essentially going to have it for a year or has had it for a
Yeah. Well,
year.
he has
Like
now.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, that was like an expected thing. It was
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
something that, like, I think mainly becoming off a Reigns reign of being
Yeah.
5 years
Yeah.
plus, you know.
I
Hmm.
think they might do it for Charlotte, but. I don't know. I can't see it being this. I say this all the time, where it's like 17's a big thing, but essentially, like Cena's already broke any record
Mm.
having 16 because what is it? Is Orton 15 or 14?
Orton's 15,
15.
Cena's,
And then Triple H is
yeah. Oh,
13.
actually, it is Orton 14. I think Orton's 14 because I think he said about going for number 15 to Cody
Yes.
on
Yeah, yeah.
SmackDown. Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
so
he's tied with Triple H.
this is what I'm thinking. So if you look at it like a company thing, then essentially no one's touching Cena outside of
Yeah.
all because
Hmm.
although Ric Flair is 16 time champ or 17 time champ, whatever it is, like what is he, 17, 16,
16.
16 time champ. Um
Yeah.
WWE never made him a 16 time champ.
No.
So he's because he's essentially a 21 time champ, but
Yeah, yeah.
not recognized in WWE, but it's only recognized in WWE because they bought WCW. So they never made them decisions. So
This is Cena being the homegrown.
yeah, so Cena's been a WWE or WWE champ 16 times. Nobody
I
else
mean,
has.
I'm tempted to say that he will beat Cody because they'll want him to be away from the shadow of Ric Flair being
Yeah, yeah,
a shared thing, you know.
yeah. I would
But I
say
mean, I don't know how Ric Flair's going to get on Vegas weekend because apparently he's been told that he can't be there because of his AEW contract.
yeah,
And then if Cena breaks his record,
yeah. I mean,
When Charlotte loses.
he did say on Busted Open, was I've seen bits of Busted Open, that he was like, I'm happy for him, and they're mentioning me every week, and it's nice and blah blah blah. He was kind of like, it'd be nice to be there to like shake his hand and hand him the title, which would be, but the way Ric Flair is, he'd be like, well, let's turn it into a work, let's turn it into an angle, a
Shake his hand,
business.
pull him in.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like,
Slap his chest a few times,
yeah, it's
do a
like
little
you're on
strut.
seven, like calm down. Do you know what I mean? Like
It'd be
it's
a bit of a weird thing though for a heel Cena to have a Ric Flair walking down to shake his
well,
hand at the
that's
end
it,
of it,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this match was shit. By the way, just in case anybody was wondering.
It's
We
one of
we
those things as an 11-year-old watching it compared to I won't say how old you would have been for this match. As an 11-year-old watching it who was a Cena fan,
okay. I don't
I
know.
enjoyed it because of it being a Cena match.
Yeah.
Like the match rate, match quality didn't really matter to me as an 11-year-old. That being said,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
if I was a 27-year-old watching this match, like I am now, then I would probably criticize it for its in-ring quality and forget about who was actually in the ring and what they meant to me as a fan of their work.
I was probably a 27-year-old when I wasn't. I don't think. I think I was younger than that.
I was 19,
Okay. How old are you?
20, 30, 35,
So how old was you? 17,
19.
19. I would have been 22, 23.
Yeah. 2009, my first Mania in person, you know.
Jesus.
I
Jesus.
forgot that you were there.
Holds a bit of a special thing because it was the first time I'd seen a world title change hands,
Mm.
Ah, yeah.
you know.
Number nine on our list, which obviously, as I say, his fourth title reign, his first world heavyweight title reign. I think it's right, isn't it? First heavyweight title.
Hmm.
When he
Yeah.
beat Chris Jericho at Survivor Series. Now, I will add a tiny caveat to this match because it holds a super duper special thing. This match, right? Like the superest of duperest special things. This match, but it ended up being number eight on my list. It was higher because of this reason, but it's number eight on my list. Why is laughing?
Because I feel like I know where you're going with the reason.
I don't know what you say. Talk about it in a minute. Why is Callum laughing about this?
I
Oh,
might have the same idea that Adam has and
all right,
don't really
okay,
wish to share it.
okay. I'll share in a minute. Where was it on your
So
list?
this was my number 13,
Okay,
mainly because I'm not as sentimental as you.
obviously.
Yeah,
No,
this is
my biggest issue with it was another one of these
Yes,
Cena's back at the pay-per-view, so he's going to get a world title shot, and
yeah,
then it sort of totally did away with Jericho's best work. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that sort of end of the year where like yeah he was sort of shoehorned into the scramble match and then but
mm,
like the feud that he had with Michaels as world champion, the
yeah,
ladder match and stuff like that. Like I remember being at the Raw in Manchester in 2008 and it was Jericho Michaels hell last man standing. And it was all sort of leading up to this point, and it's like all of a sudden it's just scuppered away from him.
yeah.
Um,
Well, even on
and
the
I
build,
wasn't a fan of that.
like the build package, he was like, I've beat Shawn Michaels in a ladder match. I've had like two cage matches of like all the stuff he'd done. You were kind of like,
Mm.
bloody hell, that's a proper run, that.
mm,
Like what he'd done, and obviously like that was, I would say, one of his best like reinventions that he did.
mm,
Like he's had a lot of reinventions since, obviously, but when he like started talking quiet and wearing suits and like doing his thing, like I think he really like tapped into something.
Yeah.
Um, so it was good, but yeah, the match, as you say, it was kind of like, oh, it's in Boston. Oh well, we need someone from Boston. That was literally it. Like that's all
yeah,
we got. The
Yeah.
reason for it. My super duper important reason for this match. This was higher. and it was only because of match quality and like how much I enjoyed watching other matches that it got bumped down a bit. Um, but it's because, and I'm sure you both realize this. This is the first. This match is the reason why Adam tweeted me the first time. So it is. Why are you laughing,
Mhm.
Callum? Why? What's
I,
funny?
I thought it was gonna be something else.
What did you think it was?
I thought it was like the first night you went out with Rachel or something.
No,
That was Django Unchained.
2008. I didn't
Oh, of
even know
course
it.
it was.
2008. Listen, Jesus. No, this is
We've been here longer than him and Rage.
yeah. This is super personal because yeah, I tweeted randomly and was like, "Hey, what's this song?" Because they used Ryan Starr's "This Could Be the Year," which is still
Yeah.
on a playlist that I listen to on a
Yeah,
regular
yeah.
basis.
I've got
Um,
his album.
oh, what an album it is! What an
Yeah.
album Ryan Starr did there. So I tweeted out and was like, "Hey, what's this song that they're using?" And then Adam said, "Hey, it's Ryan Starr, mate." And then I don't even think we were following each other. I think, or you were following me. I don't know,
I
but
think I was probably just stalking the hashtag because it was easier at that point to just look
yes,
at. You click on the
yes,
hashtag and you just see the stream of people chatting about it as you were watching it,
yeah,
and it
yeah.
was easier to manage.
Yes. Should
Yeah.
be back like where it makes
Oh no.
sense. These two. So anyway, he tweeted, and then yeah, we ended up tweeting each other, and then we just ended up talking wrestling a bit, and then you ended up on my Facebook somehow, and then you yeah, and then you started working for the site, and there we are, and blah blah blah, and now we're the best of friends. Look at that. We've been
We've
to
been in
London.
the same room about 4 times.
Yeah, yeah, but you know, we see
You
each
know,
other every week.
we've done some good shit.
Yeah, man. Like we don't
Yeah.
see each other a lot, but when we do, we
Oh, we do it.
yeah.
Look like that.
No, not like that. But we
Kevin
don't
and Perry
just
go
like,
mad.
hey, yeah, we're not like, hey, let's just have a coffee or something. Well, oh no, we're doing something. We're going
We're doing
places.
something.
Yeah.
We're doing CMLL Fantastica Mania. We're in London for All In. We're watching Hamilton.
Hamilton was really good.
We're
Yeah.
watching the Iron Claw.
Yeah. I ain't cloth forgot about that. Yeah. We're always doing
Doing
something good.
something.
So yeah, this is a super like
And the next time. Ooh.
oh no now by the way.
Oh, oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, Thea told me.
Right.
Yeah,
Thea told you.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I know. So
must be Father's Day present in it.
I know. Yeah, Thea told me. She was like, "I just want to tell you. I just want to tell you." And Rach was like, "You can tell him if you want. It sound blew my mind. Be honest with you, blew my tiny mind, tiny mind.
We're going to Progress.
We're going to program. No, we're going front row to
Front
progress.
row at Progress.
Yes, front
We're going to
row.
get dived on.
I was gonna say we're gonna get greasy. It's gonna be fun. Um, So yeah, this is like holds a special moment because obviously when you tweet somebody, you get told not to meet people on the internet because they can be weird or serial killers. Um, but this one wasn't. I might be, but he isn't.
Why do you think I've not met you yet?
I'm the serial killer. So yeah, but the match wasn't really that bad. As I say, it was an all right match. It was decent. Like they did the thing. I think my reasoning for this that would have been lower is purely because Cena was like, "Hey, I've been out and I'm coming back and I'm doing this," and he won the title, which just seems a little bit. I don't know what. Do you know what I
Why
mean?
why was he out? Because he was at WrestleMania 24 and then he feuded
He,
with JBL
he was injured, wasn't he? Was that when he bladdered his elbow?
Um,
No, it wasn't. We were just
in
talking about.
08.
Did he?
in
Did he bladder his
08.
elbow?
Would he have gone and filmed something? Was that not around the time where 12
Marine.
rounds?
Oh yeah,
Marine was when he got stabbed by Carlito.
Ah,
12 rounds was after the Marine, weren't it?
Yeah.
So it might have
I
been
feel like 12 rounds had a release in like 2009. So I want to say that's probably when that was. But I
maybe.
yeah.
can't remember storyline wise
Yeah.
why it was that they sort of said that he went away. And let's have a, let's go to the Google machine.
But I think for me, a lot of my um, early picks here are more to do with the reign. Once again, this was a transitional reign where
Yeah.
he won it at Survivors, not Survivor Series, For some reason, I put Survivor Series down, and I think that's wrong. Um, because he didn't he faced Triple H and Michaels.
Hmm.
This was the year after.
Okay, well, to be honest, I've
So
just
well,
written something down.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
it was. Yeah.
The Jericho one was Survivor Series '08. He successfully defended it against Jericho again at Armageddon, and
Okay,
then he lost
lost it in the chamber.
lost it in the chamber because that was the one where Edge came out
The
and
Edge two timed.
yeah. Because
Wasn't
the
that
Michael
2000?
Cena thing,
So
we
that
will
was
get to.
2010 or 2000,
This
2009.
was 2008. The Michael Cena thing was 2009
That's
because we'll
right.
get to that when we get to Wharton and Breaking Point.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. He
yeah.
was about a lot, wasn't he? Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
Um, that's mad. Okay, so number 8 on our list is seventh title reign, 2009. Bragging rights when he beat Randy Orton. This was a anything goes anywhere you want Iron Man match.
Yeah.
Okay. This was a tough watch, I'll be
Well,
honest.
I was going to say to you when you said, "Oh, I've been back and I watched them all again." Did you forget that you had an Iron Man match? So what? A 60-minute Iron Man match as well.
Yeah, that was about 10:15 last night. I watched that.
Just to go back a second, just a smidge. Cena's injury in '08 was to do with a herniated disc in his neck in his match with Batista at SummerSlam.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's
that.
when yeah,
Because
yeah.
it actually says here, and I didn't know this was the thing. Cena was named as one of 4 contenders for CM Punk's World Heavyweight Championship in the Scramble match on September 7th, but was replaced by Rey Mysterio
I
after
didn't.
a legitimate herniated disc.
Yeah, it was that jump when he jumped off the ropes and he did like a
And
half
it
a
was into the
yeah,
Batista. Yeah.
Into the
Yeah.
Batista one.
Yeah.
yeah, man. What was we saying? Yeah.
Um,
Orton
So I did watch this
Orton
breaking
match.
bragging rights.
bragging rights.
Where did you put this?
This was my number 8.
Okay.
This is my
Uh,
number 10.
my number 12. And I'll tell
Like I
you,
remember the match being okay, and I think
well,
probably more so for the stipulation that I've gone.
yeah, so
You
it's one of the it's so this is the match. So the thing that people will remember, I suppose, from this match is Randy Orton with the pyro.
Yeah,
Mm.
That's the thing that like is like that.
yeah,
There is also a part of me that when Randy Orton came out with his head shaved as close as it was and no beard and like super lean, I was like, Jesus Christ, he looks sick. Like, because he's
yeah.
just a little beefcake now, and he's like proper muscles
Mm.
on muscles on muscles. Um, do you know what I didn't like about this match? There was too many pinfalls. They were like
Mm.
5-5.
Yeah, it was a 6-5 finish.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I think Orton tapped out with about 20 seconds to go, something
Mm.
like
Mm.
that. But it was just so many pinfalls, man. Like it was 10 pinfalls. You're just
Yeah.
like,
Mm.
come on, man.
Like one every 6 minutes. You're like, come on. Most matches aren't
That's a
even
lot.
6 minutes.
Yeah, like I was like,
Yeah.
that's a lot. That.
Yeah.
So,
Was
uh,
this the match where they did and admittedly it doesn't look as good as it sounds, but Orton RKO'd Cena coming out of an attitude adjustment. So
me?
like Cena has him up on his shoulders, he
Yeah, yeah,
does the AA, and then as he's coming round, Orton
Mm.
turns
yeah,
slightly,
yeah. It's very
RKO's
possible
him,
that
but
it's
it
that one.
looks like Cena's just AA'd him. It doesn't look
Yeah,
like he's at an
Mm.
RKO.
it's possibly that man because obviously I've watched 2 Randy Orton matches with him.
Yeah,
Um, it's possibly that one.
might be.
It is one of them two
Mm.
Yeah.
that he has for the title because I've
Because
seen.
like my favorite Cena Orton match was one where they went years after this point
Yeah,
and they had a Hell in a Cell, and I want to say it was like 2015 Hell in a Cell.
Was that the
last
same year
match
where you had
they had.
Rollins and Ambrose?
I think so.
That was the
Yeah.
And
last
basically
match
what
that they had.
Yeah, but what they did is they hit the greatest hits. They knew exactly what to do. They
Mm.
did the stuff that worked and got them through that feud because this 2009 feud was a proper slog
Mm,
because you had to go through bragging rights to then get to no, sorry, you had to go through breaking point to
Mm.
get to bragging rights. Breaking point was like a bizarre I quit match, but again, it's
mm,
Cena in an I quit match. He's never going to lose one.
Yeah,
And again, then after you come out of breaking point, you've then got to go to Hell in a Cell, which
Mm.
again at that point, hot potato the world title.
Yeah,
You know, because Cena would
mm.
have won it at bragging rights and lost it at Hell in a Cell,
yeah.
Yeah.
and then won it again at bragging rights.
Um, so yeah, so we've still got a Randy Orton match on the list, obviously.
Mm,
That Randy Orton match is high on my list. Um,
Okay.
okay.
I love that match. Like, I absolutely love it. They just fucking battered each other. Anyway, so number seven. Let me just show number seven. Oh, okay. I'll tell you about it in a minute. So number seven has got two in it because obviously it works on a point system, and both of these matches have ended up with the same amount of points. So first of all, we've got his 15th reign, 2014 at Money in the Bank when he had it was the vacated titles. We had
Mm.
Del Rio, Bray Wyatt, watching that, I'll be honest. Cesaro, Kane, Orton, Roman Reigns, and Sheamus. Roman Reigns with a vest on and a goatee and little chickpea teeth. What was that? Like, oh my
Little chickpea teeth.
God.
He's not been to Turkey yet.
Yeah, he hasn't. Little chickpea teeth and a vest and that and a goatee. I'm like, why? How's this guy? The guy who's marketable. And then you look at him now and he's an absolute specimen of a man. Like,
Yeah.
just he's just unreal. How are them two people the same? It blows me mind.
In the back when
Like,
people when Vince is going, Roman Reigns, he's the next guy. He's that they're all
yeah,
going, are you okay? Are you
yeah.
okay?
Like,
He's losing it.
what? Mad. So that's a seventh on our list, and also his sixth title reign, 2009 Breaking Point when he beat Randy Orton. Now I am gonna blow your mind here, but that match is my number one,
What?
What?
right? Because I'll tell
What an egregious thing to say.
I'll tell you right now, right?
My God.
It's number one because when I thought, right, so I thought about when we were like, oh, yeah, we'll do this, it's all good, right? And then we were like, we'll do the 16. It's all, yes, let's go, all that stuff, right? So I was like, okay, what is the most poignant match of him winning a title? And that was the match I thought of. I don't know, like, it's such a good match. Like,
Now that you've just said that, it's even worse.
why?
Because I'm looking at my top five now, right? And to be honest, my number four, I think I've put too high, but I will explain why I put it that high. But those matches are nowhere near this match.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
Hmm.
this match was just another one of those. How much punishment can we get on to Cena for him to say I quit, for him not to say I quit, and Orton just
Well,
say I
no,
quit?
but that I think that was the thing where it was like that's kind of the point, weren't it? And like I think Randy Orton at that time was like a fucking menace. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like everything kind of it just worked. Like I really enjoyed, but again, we're looking at it differently because I watched that match like yesterday. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean? So I'm looking at it like Jesus Christ, because I've seen some shit matches in the last 24 hours. This is not a shit match. Like I've watched matches where I'm like, oh my God, like okay, does the baby need feeding or something? Like, have I got to like, can I do something else except watch?
Rage, Del Rio's on again. You
So
got anything from the shop?
that was it. I was just like, oh my God, but I knew going into this that you absolutely would not put it anywhere near number one.
Not
I'm
number
okay with
one.
that.
Yeah,
It's my number 11.
That's fine. That's
there's
okay.
my number nine.
Oh my
It was
God.
so much of it there. I think myself and Adam, as always with these list things, are sort of in sync some way. without sort of
We
sharing our
follow the
list
rules, Callum.
beforehand, we
Hang
were like,
on. How am I not following the rules?
it,
I said
I
his
don't think
title
it's
win.
that. I think it's more of the thing of we view things differently to how you view things, or we perhaps read things differently in some strange way. To where I was like, I'm not going to do it more on the match. I'm going to be doing it on how long he was the champion for. Because in this scenario, at Breaking Point, he lost the title again and then won it back at bragging rights.
Yeah.
And it's similar to the Money in the Bank one in 2014, similar to him beating Del Rio in 2013, your boy Del Rio. It was
Yeah.
a way to get to the next thing. So
Yeah.
Brian was out injured. We need a champion. Cena, you're the champion. Bad luck, you're facing Brock Lesnar next month.
Yeah. Yeah. I get.
Um, but at least that led to that Suplex City thing. Whereas with
Oh, yeah.
the match at Breaking Point between Cena and Orton, it just led to another Cena versus Orton match.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I was going off. I just like that match. All right, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
Know what I mean? The 2014 Money in the Bank. Um, that was a pretty good match as well. To be fair,
Mm.
they did a ladder spot where the ladder was through another ladder, and then Reigns lifted it up with Sheamus and Cesaro on it,
Yeah.
and Cesaro like moved towards the middle of it, and then Cena moved it back so it was standing up. That was a cool spot,
mm.
but yeah, I don't know where to put that. Where did you just put the um?
It was my number 9.
It was my number 8.
Jesus Christ, it's my number 4, guys. What are you doing here? Oh my God, Jesus! I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of that was me just watching it through tears because Bray Wyatt was in the match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a
Because
rough.
this was the after Brian had to vacate.
Yes.
And then it ended up going to hit. Well, I think this is why it's sort of middle of the table. Like, yeah, the match is good, and I love a Money in the Bank ladder match, but
Yeah.
the way that it ended up being a sort of lead into a squash match against Lesnar at SummerSlam,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
did it down for me.
Yeah. So number 6 has got 2 as well. We've got his ninth title reign. 2010 WrestleMania 26 against Batista. Heel Batista, man. Oh God, wanting the spotlight and oh Jesus, what a what a time to be alive. And his second title reign, 2006 Royal Rumble against Edge. I
Means
am
the top 5 are my top 5.
7 and
yeah.
5 for me.
So it's hang on.
6 and 7 for me.
Against Batista, it's 2 and 3 for me.
Yeah.
The Batista match is number 6 for me.
The Batista match is number 7 for me. I must admit it was higher because I do really enjoy that match.
Yeah, and the
But when I was
Royal,
taking in the reign, it was he ended up just feuding with Batista before he dropped it.
yeah,
Because he ended up dropping it in a fatal 4-way with Sheamus involved, I think.
Orton and
And
Edge.
yeah, at the fatal 4-way pay-per-view.
I don't.
Um,
Yes, I'll be honest.
and because he had another match against Batista, because he had an I Quit match against Batista, and that was where no, he had a last man standing where he duct taped his legs around the ring post so he then couldn't get
Oh
up
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
Mm.
answer the call at 10. And then he had an I Quit with Batista where like we mentioned this, Cal, on the Progress one, because it was the one where he was about to AA Batista off a car through a stage,
Mm.
and Batista just went, no, 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 I quit, and then Cena did it anyway. And then that was the day after Batista was in a wheelchair in the middle of the ring
that when he
with
quit.
bruises. Yeah, where he's
Yeah,
going, I quit, I quit, I quit. Yeah. So yeah, the reign wasn't fantastic, but the match was really good at 26. I enjoyed that.
I think it
So
helped. It had a
that's my
story
number
as
7.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had the story of Batista being the one who beat Cena after Chamber. Cena obviously wanting the title back. The whole thing that happened at SummerSlam '08.
Yeah,
It gave purpose for that being a title match at that year's WrestleMania, whereas a lot prior to all of this was we're throwing Cena in it. Like there was a legitimate case of him facing Batista at that WrestleMania
I
and
think
winning
as
the
well.
title.
Like we've mentioned about like Cena turning heel now, and the idea of him like you've got to kind of believe what you say, and I think that heel run of Batista going in being like, we're the same, but for some reason you're you're better than me. Like, and
Mm,
you're viewed better than me. That's like, it's proper simple, but it's one of them where it's like it makes a lot of sense. Because I suppose the ruthless aggression, you could argue they're the Austin and the Rock of that era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
mm,
Like the two biggest stars. So I think it's one of them where it's like the parallel to each other. So with him turning heel and then being like, "Well, I'm coming after you because it's more about the spot. So I want your spot," type thing. I always
mm.
like that. I always thought that was like a cool thing. And yeah, the Royal Rumble match with Edge. Um, is this when it was the Rated R belt after the
No,
what one?
it not changed it to that yet. So this was so Orton, not Orton. Cena retained it in a elimination chamber at
Yeah.
New Year's Revolution, and then Edge cashed in. So this was the first cash in.
Oh, of
And then they
course.
went
Yeah,
on and
yeah.
had the rematch at the Rumble because Cena came out on a weird sort of like ramp thing that
Yeah,
was
he
sort of
did.
lowered
Yeah.
from the roof.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. And he was like jumping on buttons and they were like shooting.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is just after the live
Edge had
sex
been champion
celebration.
for yeah. Edge had been champion for like 2.5 weeks, you know.
Mm,
Live sex celebration. That's funny.
Because I'll
Yeah.
be honest, like originally on my list, I put this lower because it was a sort of annoyed that Edge lost the title that early on.
Yeah.
mm,
I think the match is fine. I think the match is sort of perfectly fine as it is. It's not the best one that he's had with Edge.
Yeah.
More to come.
mm.
But then
I know where that is on your list. I know it.
I think I know the like the rain and stuff. Because this is where he then led into Mania and faced Triple H. But this is really where the crowd started turning on him. This is where
Mm,
like the sort of crowd reaction ended up being more of a we're not sure that we like the booking of this guy anymore
Yeah.
because yes, we watched a guy who we really like in Edge
Yeah.
beating him, but then we've had to put up with Cena beating him and getting the title back so quickly.
Yeah.
And then I think naturally the reason why I ended up putting it a little bit higher and it kept sort of watching up a little bit because obviously it was the Triple H stuff, and then there was a good triple threat between Cena, Edge, and Triple H at Backlash that year. But then it got to where I ended up putting it because of the ECW One Night Stand stuff with RVD,
mm.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
because then that's where this reign ended.
Yeah. Um. So next one, number 5 on the list is the lowest one I've got left on mine. He's not gonna like this. Is his first title reign, 2005 WrestleMania 21, JBL.
My number two.
Yeah.
My number two.
You got the moment of him
Wow.
being in the crowd and
Yeah,
the
My, do
yeah.
fans.
you want to make a guess as to where it is on mine?
10,
Uh, yeah, 10, 12-ish.
Lower, lower than 10,
14th.
higher than 14.
13th.
13.
That's ridiculous.
I, honest to God, right? I knew I was going to watch these matches, right? I knew I was going to sit down and watch it, and I knew this was the first match you had to watch. And as soon as I thought about it, I was like, I don't think I can do this. I absolutely hate this match. I hate it.
I will admit, it's not the best match.
Mm,
And again, at one point, this was my number one. And
Really?
then I kept thinking, match quality wise, it's just not the best match. But for everything that it meant, for everything that it stood for, Cena going into that title match at WrestleMania, he's only his second WrestleMania, bearing in mind, to have a WWE Championship match against JBL. I remember this feeling like seeing someone ascend to that main event spot before Money in the Bank was a thing,
Yeah,
before they sort of could do that,
yeah,
because that was the show. Mania 21 is the show where they took the Royal Rumble winner of Batista, which again catapulted him up there, to face Triple H for the world title. They had Cena win a tournament where he beat Kurt Angle in the finals of the tournament to
Yeah.
then go on and face JBL at Mania. And it was a real sort of like passing of the torch type thing. It was a real sort of like changing of the guard where these two young guys are coming out being these are the two that are moving us forward. And then
Mm.
I can do without the spinner title, you know, like as much as people love it and all that kind of stuff. I'm not to the point where I'm like, I hate it. I can't stand to see it again because the Undisputed Championship is my favorite title design, right? Full stop. You know, it's the Eddie title, it's all that kind of stuff. And the fact that Cena did away with it is, you know, here or there. But then his match with JBL here, yes, is a slog. Fully admit that. Because if I'm honest, I don't think JBL as a character with his wrestling style attributed to really good matches. I think him in a hardcore stipulation,
Yeah.
if you fast forward and go to the Judgment Day I Quit match that Ian Cena had, fantastic, really great match. If you go back to like all his stuff as Bradshaw in hardcore title matches or like the Belfast Brawl against Finlay, it works with the stipulation. When there's no stip, it's quite dull, it's quite boring, it's quite methodical wrestling. You know,
Mm.
it's clubs to the back and it's clotheslines and it's last calls and power bombs and stuff like that.
But
And there's nothing
that's his
necessarily.
gimmick, isn't it? His gimmick
Yeah, and
is
I
like
get that, but I think at that point, for what Cena was then bringing to the table, you weren't getting a real sort of clash of styles, and it was a bit dull. I will admit that to you, but
the thing.
Cena's enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
The thing.
about the moment, isn't it? Yeah, the
Yeah,
moment of Batista winning the title against Triple H and
Yeah.
Cena defeating JBL, and the thing of everyone wanting JBL to lose.
Yeah.
It's had that sort of heel
100%.
of we don't want to see him win, especially against this new up and coming guy that we've got here.
Mm.
Um, Hold the title for what 9 months before losing it to Edge, before being cashed in on by the man who won that briefcase on that same night that Cena won his first title. Um, and I think it personally would be very poetic if Cena were to win at WrestleMania this year, for it to be a 20-year anniversary of winning his first title to going on to winning what I would assume will be his last.
No, he's done for
Um,
one.
How have they not tapped
there's
into
great
that?
there's
How
great
have they not
symmetry
mentioned
there
that?
because he's a heel. Why would he want to talk about that?
Yeah.
That's
But
really
they,
good though.
thank you.
Like I'd not even put two and two together about that.
So it's the 20-year anniversary of
It's
him
been 20
winning
years since he won his first title at
21
WrestleMania,
to 41. Yeah, yeah,
and
Yeah,
he's supposedly winning his last one.
clever that.
I'm
Ooh.
wasted, aren't I?
That's poetry.
He
That's like
is winning, isn't he?
storybook
Like
stuff.
he is winning it.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Now he is. Now that Callum said that, he is now.
The thing is, right, he's got to win it because if he doesn't win it, there's no one, there's no one who could believably beat Cody if he doesn't.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's where my
Yeah.
head
You
goes.
build a bigger person as well than having
Yeah.
someone else defeat Cena.
Mm.
Yes.
Bron Breakker giving him a spear like he speared Calio.
Yeah. DDT'd him, didn't he? Yeah.
Calio DDT'd Bron.
I hate this match because he does 4 moves and it annoys the life out of me. He gets his head kicked in for eight
So
minutes.
does JBL.
Well, yeah, but he does 4 moves over and over again. You know what I mean? Like he does like a flood, like John Cena does a little flurry at the end where he's like, "Oh, a backdrop, 5 knuckle shuffle. Oh, attitude adjustment. Oh, he got out of it. Oh, puts him back in it. He puts him in it. Oh, he hits the three. Oh, he's won. That's it. That's literally the only offense he's got. I'm just like, just go away. I'm not into it. Number 4 is 13 title reign, 2013 WrestleMania 29, The Rock. Where did you have that? This was higher on my list than it was originally. Um, this is my number 5.
My 6.
It's my number 4,
Okay,
Mm.
and I will admit to you, it was very, very low at one point
okay,
Mm.
because I had to get over the. I'm annoyed that it wasn't just once in a lifetime.
yes,
Like I've
Mm.
got a poster at the other side of this door that says "Once in a Lifetime WrestleMania 28," and I
yeah,
was so pissed off about the fact that they did it again because I was like, well, it's not once in a lifetime, then is it? It's twice in a
Mm.
lifetime. And the match was crap.
Well, it depends
I
if you.
didn't.
It depends if between um, March of 2013 and March of 2012 and March of 2013. If you died, then it would be once in a lifetime, wouldn't it?
This is true,
Okay,
but I
so
didn't. I'm still here.
know what I mean?
And
So if you would have
my
died,
poster
I
in my
feel like
house
that's
that
on you.
came back from
I,
Miami is currently incorrect.
I feel like
Um,
that's your fault for
sorry, my bad.
outliving. Yeah.
I outlived the offer. Um,
What's
now,
the lifetime? Right, but that's it. All right.
Just need
yeah,
like a marker pen that Bill Nye gets in Love Actually when he writes on the poster of Blue. Just
oh
put like
God,
not in front of
yeah,
what.
There you go.
quotes.
Um,
Um, no, I wasn't a fan of the match because, again, to be fair, I've only seen it the once, and I was bitter enough watching it when it
I
was
think
happening.
this match is better than the first one.
Do you think?
Yeah.
See, but
As
again, I'm biased, aren't I?
as like quality of match, I feel like they've got to.
Well,
Do you know
I mean,
what?
this
Right,
is
you
the one
know.
where The Rock like tore himself to pieces.
Yes. Right.
Mm.
You
So I
know,
think it's less. I don't know. Right. I don't think the match quality is better. I feel
right?
like they work better together the second time. I would,
Okay.
because they kind of like they were. It wasn't super alien. And I know that's a bit of a cop out, but I feel like whenever you get in the ring with somebody you've never got in the ring with, I
Mm.
think it was a bit like, ooh, and you could kind of tell they were like almost holding back a little bit in the first match. Do you know what I
I
mean?
just feel like the crowd are just aren't with it.
Oh, and yeah, I would totally agree with that. Like there's points where they're just like they're wrestling to nobody. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? They're not the crowd aren't excited at all, which I
They
was
were all looking forward
totally
to the
about.
Bellas and the Funkadactyls coming out, but their
Yeah.
match got cancelled. You know.
Yeah, I was kind of like shocked at that bit of it because
Mm.
from what I remember of the first match, obviously I haven't watched it recently. I don't think I've watched it since whenever it happened. But the crowd was super hot,
Mm.
like
Yeah.
going backwards and forwards, and there wasn't really any of that. But I just enjoyed. I don't know. I just enjoyed this match a little bit more. I think.
I think
Like,
the
I've
issue was it was a given that Cena was going to get his win back.
yeah, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And the way that they got to it again felt so forced. You know, to have Rock
Yeah,
beat Punk at Rumble, Cena win the Rumble, Rock beat Punk at Chamber, and
yeah,
then Rock Cena at Mania. Like I am the main Punk fan on this podcast. I'd have much preferred a triple threat between Rock Cena and Punk at WrestleMania 29. Adam would have got his dream of it being once in a lifetime. Punk could have taken the pin still. He would have got his main event at that time as well.
yeah.
And you still could have had Cena win. You could have had Cena be the one to pin Punk, Rock not take the pin, done.
Because then as well, forward thinking, you're still then holding up in the air that Cena would have never beaten Rock.
Mm.
Yeah.
Should you want to go back around and do that again? Like I'm with Callum, like I think we did a podcast where it was like changing a Mania main event or something along those lines, and it was Punk Rock Cena. Like it should have been Punk Rock Cena,
Mm.
you
Yeah,
know.
that was
And
kind of like the general consensus.
yeah,
But I
like
think,
Taker could have faced somebody else. He
yeah,
could have
adding Punk to that
get
match, I think
off.
if you think about it like the way Vince thinks about things, I suppose that's the way you look at it. He's like, I'm not putting Punk in that match. Like, Punk is a different caliber of person. Do you know what I mean? Which I understand to a point because he's a different caliber of superstar. But when you've got The Rock,
It's that mentality, and I know we're past it now. It's
yeah.
cutting your nose off to spite your face
Oh,
because
100%, yeah. Oh,
had you put Punk in that match and the casual fan coming to a WrestleMania going, "Oh, yeah, it's John Cena and The Rock that are facing each other," it's then a case of, "Oh, who's this CM Punk guy that's also in there?"
I understand that, but I feel well,
And
yeah, right. So moving on, number three on the list is his 10th title reign, 2011 Extreme Rules, when he beat The Miz and John Morrison in a cage match. The first thing I thought when I was watching it, not the first thing, but while I was watching this, I was like, Cena's a different caliber of star than Miz and John Morrison. This is bananas. But that is such a hidden gem of a match.
Mm.
Like, it's so good. Like, I wanted to, do you know what, right? And I'll be completely honest with you. Yeah, I wanted to put this higher, and I thought, if I put this too high, I'm gonna get shit. And I'm already gonna get shit for me number one. So I didn't. I put it at number seven, right? And I feel like I give it a disservice because clearly yous have put it higher.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
so what? So is it like in
it's
your?
my number three.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
it's my number three.
yeah. So that's good. It stays at number three. That's all right.
Because
Um,
with this one, like you say, it is such a hidden gem of a match.
yeah,
It's much better than the Cena Miz match from
yes,
Mania.
Mm.
yes,
But this is John Morrison's treat of well done for the 6 man tag with Snooki. Here's your main event. Here's your sort of your title match.
and I
Mm.
think
Um,
going in, I was like, because I didn't even remember this match happened. I'll be
yeah.
honest with you. I was kind of like, what? When I sent you the list, because I sent you the list being like, at this he beat this guy, at this he beat this guy, and it just said, at Extreme Rules he beat the Miz. That was it. And I was
Mm.
like, when I actually looked into it, I was like, when did this? What?
Mm.
And even at the end of it, when R-Truth comes out and is knocking them all out and that, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what?
Yeah, do you not remember Cena versus R-Truth at Capital Punishment
Yeah, I
after,
do remember
after
that. Yeah,
this one?
but I was, do you know when you just like, is this a weird fever dream? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, but oh, such a good match. Like John Morrison.
I also put this one quite high because it leaned into it led into the punk stuff.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
that's the same thing for me. The
Yeah.
sort of the historical factor behind it. I mean, you had like the story between Miz and Morrison, their friendship that had dissolved over the years,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then the whole Miz Cena thing leading after WrestleMania. I mean, you had the thing that Cena announced after Extreme Rules, which was
I know.
a,
Let's not forget.
a pretty significant thing. I can't imagine even Miz or Morrison announcing that news. So good
Ty's
job Cena
forgot.
won
Ty
that.
can't remember what this thing is.
This isn't. What is this?
We we have
We
caught and successfully
compromised.
That's been cut from.
compromised Osama bin Laden.
That's not on the Netflix.
I'm not surprised.
No, to be fair, I don't think it was actually on the air. It ended up being like an after show
Oh
thing
right,
that
okay.
they
I was
then
gonna
put
say
on.
that's not.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah.
really
It
imagine
was,
the referee whispering into
it
Cena's ear.
was
You got to
I think it was
announce
like
this.
it's like a WWE home video exclusive. It said
Oh
it on the
right,
board
okay.
at
I
the
was
back of
gonna
the
say,
DVD where it was like John Cena addresses the fans.
yeah, they've like they've cut that because that's not on there. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I was
I
like,
just coincidentally, as a bit of a plug, if you've ever seen the HBO series that was written by Aaron Sorkin called The Newsroom, that's got Jeff Daniels in it as a newscaster, there's a whole episode about announcing that Bin Laden's been killed,
yeah,
and a key figure in that episode who isn't actually in the episode but is mentioned so much is The Rock because they sort of go, "We're getting this thing. We're getting like the Rock's tweeted something out. Like, do we know what it is? Do we know?" And then they're going, "Well, I think it might be Bin Laden. Why do you think it's in Bin Laden? I don't know. I've just got a hunch. Well, do we trust the Rock as a source?" And then they do a lot of like research and they go, "He's got a cousin who's a Navy SEAL. Right? This must be true then. Like, we've got to run with it. We've got to wait. Like the Rock was the first person genuinely to tweet about it.
that's mad.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
The final boss for a reason.
yeah. That's it. So yeah, I outside of everything else, these 16 matches, go and watch that one because it's
it's a really good match.
Hmm.
damn good. So number two, hang on, number two and number one, because obviously if I'm revealing number two, well, you know what number one is. Um, I so these are quite close actually, but I am gonna go out on a limb, right, and say at the very least, maybe both of yous, but I'm almost certain that Adam's number one is the TLC match.
It is indeed.
Okay. Callum, I'm less sure that you'd have that one, given
I reckon Callum's gone AJ Styles.
given the other option. Like,
I think you're very, very wrong. In fact, I
Really?
can tell you, you're
Oh,
very, very wrong. My
oh,
number
okay.
one was the TLC match against Edge because this was
Right.
sort of
Okay.
around the time where I started to watch wrestling.
Okay. So obviously you know my number one. My number two was Edge, the Edge TLC match,
Mm,
and AJ was my number three. I was looking down like I haven't even got it. It was higher, yeah, higher than I thought it was. I was like, oh my God, if
mm,
I put this like 13 or something again, oh Jesus. Um, the so talking about number two, the AJ Styles match. This was more about my love of TNA and it being the two guys like WWE versus TNA. Like, and the match is amazing anyway because
mm.
AJ's in it, and I would like to because it was in 2017, and this was his last title reign. Yeah, yes, yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
this is the last title reign. Considering he won his first one so far earlier than this, you could argue that it's like, oh, he slowed down a bit and he's done his thing, and AJ's going to have to carry this match. I don't think that's the case at all. Like, this is such a good match. Like, considering it's only really a few years ago when you think about it, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not that long ago. Yeah, for him to win that and to have the match that he had, like, it's so good. Like, the pair of them just made me miss AJ, made me miss this version of AJ
mm,
when I watched it. It was just like, what are they doing with him? Like they're not doing anything that is worthwhile, really. Like, I mean, he'll have a decent match at Mania, but like he should be in the title picture. It's AJ Styles, man. Like,
mm.
I
and
think he
this,
will be.
well, I don't know. Like, and I know this is what 2017, so it is a few years ago, but he can still go. Like, he can still do his thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, it's one of them where it's like, yeah, I feel like he could be the person who has like a proper strong rivalry with the world heavyweight title. So even a Gunther or a Jey Uso, I
I mean,
suppose.
AJ and Gunther,
Yeah,
like they've done
like
it. They did it on house shows, didn't they?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I need to see that.
yeah. It is. Yeah,
Um,
I don't know
this
what.
one was my number five,
Mm.
which feels quite low because the match is really
Really?
good. I was more put off by the rain that it led to because he
Yeah,
dropped it again the one after. Admittedly, he dropped it to Bray, in a really good Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah,
Um, but I'd love to see. And I say this to you out loud now, which means I'll end up doing it tomorrow when I remember that I've said it
mm.
out loud now. But I'd love to see if there's anybody else who had a world title match at a Royal Rumble, both of them, who then went on to do something completely different at WrestleMania. AJ
Yeah,
Styles went on to face Shane McMahon, which was great as it
yeah,
was in the opening match. Nobody expected that. Cena went on to face The Miz and Maurice with Nikki Bella and then proposed to her afterwards.
yeah, yeah.
Like, what?
Still waiting for that wedding, aren't we?
Yeah.
yeah,
Still waiting for that. Yeah,
I mean, the other one that comes to mind, Edge and Dolph Ziggler, 2011 Royal Rumble. Edge went and faced your best mate Alberto Del Rio in the main event, in the opening match even.
get in the
Dolph
ring.
Ziggler teaming with Snooki.
Oh yeah.
So
Means nothing. It means nothing. Um,
really,
number one, TLC match. This was so good.
yeah.
Man, just it was so good. It, you what I watched it and was kind of like, this is mad that hey,
Ellie's come to say hello.
look at that.
You
We
usually just open the door when like no one's here, don't you? Saying hello.
Are you
All
okay?
right then. Come on then.
There you
yeah.
go. Um,
In a minute, you see Daddy.
I see after.
so yeah, I thought even when I watched it again, I was
Mm,
like, "Oh, this does not fit John Cena's like thing at all. And he was so good. Like he took mega bumps and like they both did to be fair, but Edge always
yeah.
takes mega bumps. Like they both took a bump out the ring from in the ring, like through tables, like the ending as well, where Edge goes through two tables.
Oh, that's
Just
just
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so good. Like it's such a good. it's one of the matches where there's a lot of spots, but they all make sense.
Yeah.
It's not like a spot fest where you like to just transition into the next thing. Um, but yeah, was this when Edge got through in the sound in the river?
Yes, I think so.
That what it
Yeah.
was? Because they
Um,
rated our title in it because they threw his title in the sea.
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
This one in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because this, I think the reason why I put this as number one is obviously I think it's a great match. That moment is still repeated of him
Mm.
Yeah.
AAing Edge off the ladder through the tables,
Yeah.
but then it went into his longest reign. It
Yeah.
went into his 370-day reign where it only came to an end because he got injured.
Mm.
Mm.
And through that reign, he went through a Triple H again. You know, he went through Shawn Michaels,
Mm.
like so many different. I mean,
Umaga at Rumble.
Margaret, the Rumble, and New Year's Revolution. He survived the Great Khali. You know, and we went through the ringer with it, and it
Mm.
was fantastic that reign. I think that was the point where, and it's weird to say it, but three championship runs in, he'd found his
Yeah.
curve with it. He'd found his sort of
Yeah. Yeah.
his stride with it. And again, like Edge was just fantastic, and Edge came out looking like an absolute champ.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Even
Edge
though
was
it's
the perfect foil for Cena.
100%.
well, I
Um,
was just about to ask, is that? Oh, go on. Sorry, Callum. 'Cause we
no,
haven't.
I was just going to say the perfect foil for Cena, and obviously a lot of others around that sort of time. But you think of Cena winning it Unforgiven, the last was it last man standing against Umaga?
The Rumble was, yeah.
Yeah.
Rumble, becoming tag champions with Michaels. The No Way Out stuff against Taker and Batista, 23 against Michaels, non-title against Michaels on Raw. The Backlash Fatal Four Way, the
Fantastic as
switch
well.
in music by Michaels onto Cena, who then fell onto either Edge or Orton.
The Raw
Um,
match with
the
Michaels.
Raw match. Then you got the
That's the
Carly
match,
stuff.
that Raw match. Oh,
Like this is definitely where his in-ring work picked up, and yes, a little bit was down to the opponents, but he had to still get to that level. Like he had to get to that level of going into a ring with Shawn Michaels and
yeah.
having two incredible matches against him in the space of 3 to 4 weeks.
Mm.
And like you said, like I don't think he would have dropped the title. Yeah, the only reason why he dropped it was because of his injury.
Mm.
For as red hot as Randy Orton was in 2007, Cena could have just carried on with that title.
Mm.
Because like the opponents were just carrying on and on. Like Chris
Yeah.
Jericho returned at the end of 2007, revisit that feud. You know,
When
could
he
have
got
done
in,
the triple threat still.
is
Uh,
when he got injured, is that when Orton was given the title?
yeah, that was
Yeah,
No
we had
Mercy
that weird
'07.
No Mercy, yeah, where it was Orton, then to Triple H, then back to Orton in one night.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he wrestle like any Triple H wrestled some
He
Umaga
wrestled
or something.
Orton at the beginning, then he wrestled Umaga and successfully defended it, and then he lost to Orton at the end of the night
Yeah,
in the last man standing match.
bananas though. I think that's a pretty fair list. I would
Yeah,
s-
Yeah.
I would say that's pretty fair. Um,
your
like
bragging rights is too high, but other than no, sorry, your breaking point. But other than that, I
just
think
like
we're all
that match.
right.
I just like the match. All right, let me feel my feelings, like. You know what I mean?
I will. You always,
Always. Uh,
always.
before we wrap this one up, who who would you say John Cena's greatest rival is? Is he on this list? Or is there more than one because of the amount of time that his tenure in WWE has been that long that you could argue these two or three where it's like
I think there's
I think
three.
I was gonna say three.
Like I feel like it's Edge for that early sort of '05 to '07/8 period. Then
Yeah,
you go into the Orton era, and then sort of the Punk era.
yeah,
Mm,
And that's sort of post-punk and rock to an extent was sort of when Cena became more part-time. So yes, the match that he had against AJ and the rivalry that he had against AJ in
yeah,
2016-17 was fantastic. They don't have the same historical impact as the Edge feuds do for me because of where they both were at that time. Like they were both just starting up in 2005 as single stars. So for them to have that feud, and then for 20 years later, both men still be,
Yeah.
active and still be as big as they are now as they were 20 years ago. I mean, I think
Yeah.
about Edge in particular, and I think it's wonderful that he's still wrestling, but it's a damn shame he's wrestling for AEW,
Yes.
and that's only because of what this final year for John Cena is. It would have been so incredible for a pay-per-view this year to have headlined by John Cena and Edge,
Yeah.
or John Cena and Randy Orton. And I think that's why, in a way, I'm so grateful that Punk's back in WWE, because it means that we can have that final John Cena versus CM Punk match, because
Well,
there's very few competitors that can have that match again with Cena, and one of them is in a different company. So for Edge to be elsewhere is a real pity, because he is Cena's greatest rival for me. So it's a
yeah.
bit of a shame that we're not going to see them just have a segment together. It's a real shame that that's not going to happen this year.
Well, this was me. The next thing I was going to ask was who should be his final match. Would it be Orton or would it be? See, do you know what as well? I feel like The Miz needs to have a mention in his greatest round. I really do. Like he needs a mention at least. Like if we were doing a Rushmore, I think he'd be the fourth. I'll be honest. I'd put The Miz in there over The Rock.
See, I think I'd put The Rock in there over The Miz.
No, I'd put The Miz in. Because you've
See,
got to
actually,
think.
no. I tell you what. I would go. I would go Edge, Orton, Punk, and then my fourth would be AJ Styles.
Yeah, my fourth would either be AJ or Michaels.
No, because I don't know. Like you've got to think. I don't know. Like they were going, and do you know what? The Miz was like. You've got to think when he won the title, and he had a rivalry with John Cena. He was like he shouldn't be having the title, and then he kind of essentially held his own
Hmm.
against Cena. Like Cena's a big deal, and
Yeah.
everyone was like, Miz shouldn't be in this position,
Hmm.
and he did it well. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I would argue for the Miz.
What about Batista?
As you always do.
I was just gonna say about
R-
Batista, but I feel
Rumble '05, both of them going over the ropes together. Batista winning the
Batista's like,
title at the same time as Cena.
yeah,
5 years later, they face.
I feel like it's just with Batista, it's like one of them was on Raw and one of them was on SmackDown. I feel like
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're parallel to each other.
that was the Ruthless Aggression. One was world champion,
Yeah, yeah.
Batista. One was
So it
WWE
wasn't
champion.
really like
Yeah.
they were mad rivals, but
Like that draft where they literally were
yeah,
shipped
yeah,
past.
that's what I
Yeah.
mean. So,
Hmm.
but yeah. So so
What
yeah.
about Del Rio?
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about him. Who do you think should be his final match?
I think it will be Orton.
Okay. Apparently, I've told you this, haven't I, that they've been talking about doing a ruthless aggression.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think again is why it will be
Yeah,
Orton.
yeah. Happy with the list? Happy where everything was? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Side note, just in
Okay.
case you two didn't pick up on it, because I only picked up on it last night. Did you see that they've announced 3 new Hall of Famers for this year's class? The Legacy
Yes.
inductees.
No.
Yeah, Dory Funk Jr., Senior, sorry.
Oh.
Kamala and
Is it Ivan Koloff?
Ivan Koloff.
Oh.
So
Okay.
they're going in as legacy inductees.
What does that mean? What's the difference?
It was that thing, weren't it, where they put in really sort of like historical,
Right.
significant figures. I don't know if they're doing it for Kamala because obviously he's passed, and are they, is that the sort of way of looking at it? I think the only one who's actually still alive of the 3 is Ivan Koloff.
Hmm.
Or has he died, Callum? I don't know. You just gave me a bit
I'm
of a
not
funny
sure.
look
Like,
then.
I was like half wondering that the thing behind the legacy was anything to do
Is
with
it that
them
they've passed on?
that
Yeah.
they passed on.
Hang on.
Well, before we get into this, I was going to say next week we're doing our predictions. I would like to mention the Hall of Fame.
Ivan
Hmm.
Koloff died.
Oh. So we can have a proper
I'm assuming that's why.
Yeah.
about this
My bad.
next week.
Adam.
I hope he knows.
Like he doesn't know.
It was 8 years ago, so I hope he knows.
I forgot what I was going to say because you threw me with.
Sorry, we'll
We've
mention
got a
the
Hall
Hall
of
of Fame.
Fame next week as well as our
Yeah,
WrestleMania
we'll mention the Hall of
predictions.
Fame next week. More so because, and I don't want any answers to this. I want to know your thoughts on the match. I don't want you
Okay.
to. I don't want you to give me anything now. I'm just interested as more about like the match, why that match, and are you about it being a match?
I'm more interested about the logistics of it
Okay,
in terms of
okay. We'll talk.
people saying,
Yeah,
yeah, a certain thing.
yeah. I also feel the same. I'll be honest.
Okay.
Have we got anything to add before we wrap this one up?
I'm trying to think what match you're talking about.
Okay.
The match that's being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, nah,
Okay. I don't think what other match are we going at WrestleMania that seems
nah,
controversial?
a match.
Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. I've already told
I
you
can't
this.
believe
Oh, of
Gable's not
course.
getting a shout on the Mania card. It's annoying that, isn't it?
I can't believe he's not made it. And
Like
this boy chipper.
the year he's had. Tell you what.
I'm
Anything
surprised
else
they've
to
not
add?
shoehorned Fenix onto it, to be honest.
Can you listen to me without talking over me? Have
Sorry.
you got anything else to add? I've said four
Uh,
times.
no.
Okay. Callum.
We'll just, yes, so next week, Mania predictions.
Yes, next week Mania predictions. Official Mania predictions. We
No, nothing to add. As well, tie like Adam does.
okay, thanks for that. Interrupting Cal. Me. Yeah, stay safe, stay entertained. And if you want to watch John Cena's full 16 match title wins, I wouldn't recommend it, I'll be honest. Not in 2 days anyway. Then we've got them all on our socials in a big list. So you can do that. But you can only watch 15 of them because Rey Mysterio one isn't. Do you know there isn't any matches from that year, any Raws from that year on.
They'll get to it,
I
you
know,
know.
I'm just saying that's a bloody annoying. Anyway, so yeah, stay safe, stay entertained, and watch the wrestling you want to watch. And we will catch you next time. Bye.